Alrighty then, it's time for a jungle Rammus game. Let's get this show on the road. Which one? And this is actually a pretty important Rammus game. It's actually a bit older, because you'll notice the arcade, the whole getup is still there. It's important in the sense that it's going to showcase that I actually do listen to the comments on my videos and whatnot. On the last Rammus game I uploaded, even though I did win and honestly dominate, I maxed out W, and that bothered people because apparently the new thing to do with Rammus is to max out your E first. So I decided to give that a go the next chance I had to play Rammus, and this was the result. Actually, a few other games before this one, but this is the one I chose to highlight. Runes and masteries are the same, although I will change my runes every now and then depending on who I'm fighting. In this case, I'm taking, I believe it was attack speed red, armor yellow, magic resistance blues, and armor quints. Look at the team, it's basically pure armor, right? You get to stop them. Other times I'll take movement speed quints or attack speed quints, just kind of, you know, be efficient. Rammus's quints are rather malleable, mostly because he's a very straightforward tank and thus building him is better. I mean, better to be versatile. Anyways, this is the first huge mistake my opponent does. Look, I just ganked her, and she goes back in anyways. There is no way, if you thought about it, I would have covered enough distance, which is kind of walking away from that would have made her think, oh, it must be safe now. Like, any jungler worth their salt would have noticed, oh, she's back, I'm not that far off. You know, it's not going to be a big deal for me to try to kill her again, so that was very silly. Same thing with the Yasuo, although I will not be killing him in this instance, is like he's gonna get super cocky to the point where my Ahri's gonna constantly be getting killed and the Yasuo's gonna get overconfident, but it's gonna lead up to a lot of bad decision making. Again, the enemy team is solo queue in a nutshell. Look at the team composition. It's just solo queue all over, right? And except, I guess, except the Malphite support, but I think they were arguing about Malphite wanting to be top and shit like that, and they just kind of forced him there. But whatever the case. The enemy team comp is super easy to build against. I'm going to be building Cinder Hulk, obviously, eventually Righteous Glory, and just armor up the wazoo. They shouldn't be able to kill me at some point. In fact, I should be able to 1v1 most of them at some point, even naturally. Their comp is pretty bad, and Rammus is going to smash. Ram slam. Anyways, the enemy team is getting a pretty good advantage in the beginning, mostly because my team is getting a little too cocky and, you know, a little too overzealous. So they're just kind of getting picked off and whatnot. Though, thankfully, the enemy team is rather silly too, so some of them die as well. Like, they, instead of completely running, they just kind of turn around. I grab the Yasuo, pop my ultimate, pop everything on him. I believe he does manage to kill the Janna? Nah. He ends up getting killed just by my terms. Forgot, at some scene or another, I failed to save somebody else, and I, feel like a sad tank. I also killed Lucian because he got close enough. I don't know. Sometimes some people try a little too hard to be kind of cool, or take a chance that's not necessary. In no way, shape, or form was Lucian going to come out ahead of that. He should have just kind of kept running and hoped that the turret would kill me with enough distance. Look at this. Here, same thing. Riven is going to turret dive through all these minions, through everything, with no feasible way she would have been able to catch up to him. She does stun me, she ends up burning her flash, but then I just sort of smite her. And this next one should piss off most of you. The Lee Sin is being all fucking cocky and shit, he thought he was just gonna dash W away as soon as anyone got close. Well, that's why I knew to flash taunt him, so he would hit me and the tower would punish the shit out of him. That was super bad of Lee Sin. It's like, it's one of my biggest pet peeves in all of League of Legends or any video games, when players do things that are super unnecessarily risky with very little actual benefit because it makes it seem cool for them. Like, the Lee Sin didn't need to do any of that. It really didn't give him any advantage. I mean, if he could have just waited and eventually would have come to him, right? But he did that because, oh, I have my W. My W will save me from all problems in the world. But no. That's why I go on about it quite a bit. Also, I don't know, Yasuo just completely fucked up his wall, and it leads to him getting really embarrassingly killed. And he even pops to a flash. There was no way in hell he would have survived, because I could have tanked the tower and then brought him down with me alongside Ahri. So yeah, it's just kind of weird. Also, the Jhin ulted for no reason. Like, we all told him that he shouldn't. I catch the Lucian, and I believe he ends up just kind of dashing away, and I can't really catch him. Line of sight, and I think his homie is there to protect him, so I just kind of back off. But that's still pretty good. I fucked him up enough that he has to go home. Yeah, the enemy team composition is not made to deal with Rammus, and I picked him early, alright? And they sort of just kind of waltzed into it. And they're not adapting their playstyle. This Yasuo is once again just kind of pushing way too ahead and getting himself absolutely fucked. Although the Ahri is pretty goddamn dumb, so she kind of, you know, got butchered and failed the whole shenanigans. I do believe we end up catching them, though the Ahri's gonna get killed here because the Lee Sin's gonna bust her balls open. She dies, they end up facing me, but I'm like, I still have my ultimate, I have my taunt, I have my W. Like, the Yasuo's just sort of gonna get ground down to pieces. Lee Sin jumps in, or at least kind of tries to. Gragas goes through, doesn't actually manage to catch him, he dashes away, whatever, right? Again, they're constantly trying to pick fights with me, and even right here, we don't actually manage to kill them. They don't realize that they don't have the means to do it. They just want to be all cool. If you, I kind of didn't record it properly, but if you saw that Lee Sin went in with his Q, and before he got to do any other combo, my instant taunt and melee range stopped them entirely. So it's just kind of bad decision making. And speaking of bad decision making, or just bad, I don't know, whatever, look at this shenanigans. My team is definitely losing, in this fight at least. And the enemy team is failing to finish them off. The Jhin is just kind of casually walking away. Yasuo can't kill any of these guys. And Lee Sin is going to end up showing up to save the day. But the Yasuo should have just cut his losses and not kind of re-engaged. Because, you know, just let Lee Sin get the kill. Because now he died. And I'm able to catch the Lee Sin in a cool-ass combo to make so me and Ahri can kill him. So that was just really bad. Like, you should just kind of cut your losses. You know, Yasuo, back off. You don't need the kill. Whatever. Jhin also took way too goddamn long to die. They could have planned that a lot better. So, yay for my team. This is gonna sound kind of mean, I guess, but this is one of those games where you know, unless something really bad goes down, you shouldn't lose it. The enemy team is showing a lot of characteristics in that you should be able to sort of predict what's gonna end them. In my opinion, when I was playing this game, I thought either Riven or Yasuo were going to do something dumb. They were going to go in or get themselves caught, and they were just going to make it a 4v5. And then they would have a really poor engage, and then they'd be scattered and destroyed. That's what I thought. And that is actually what's going to happen here. You can tell the Malphite wants to engage, but he's just a support Malphite. He really doesn't have the means to do so. Lee Sin is going to force the engage with a Q, or try to. Malphite can't follow that up, so my team is just backing away, and now we're in a superior position. Malphite initiates poorly because there's nothing else he could do. My Q may have run out, but I'm able to get behind him and just grab their Lucian, basically disabling him from the fight. I kill Gragas through, I kill Lucian through my Tremor and Malphite too. They do kill two of us, but they're all going to die essentially because they just kind of are scattered and low and whatever. They cost so many resources for them to even attempt that. And it didn't cost us very much except 2 people. And even then, those people could have probably been avoided if, you know, my Q had run out and I was able to make a better entrance. Those are one of those engages or one of those situations where you just kind of go, yeah, you know what? Just stop. It's going to cost us so much for the very little benefit. And at this point now, I can kill any one of them. They're not threatening to me anymore. It's one of those situations where it's just gonna, like, the second I join any fight, the enemy team just kind of loses. Even if they get a great initiation, just my composition with Janna and me is going to disable them super bad. It's one of those games, again, where you already know the outcome. Because the enemy team is sort of shown that they're not really learning from their mistakes. Constantly making strange-ass decisions like that right there, too. And they're not really engaging as a team, especially when, you know, the only way they're going to beat my composition is through an actual team fight, because individually we're really threatening, or at least very slippery, and they're focusing the wrong targets over and over. Like, it's just kind of one of those games where you just slowly trudge towards the finish line because the enemy team stubbornly refuses to surrender. Or they don't understand or acknowledge the fact that they kind of already lost. They probably are, you know, in most cases, they probably already lost in Champion Select. And considering they were shit-talking each other and all chat and stuff, it's probably the case, too, that they just kind of lost morale-wise. But as you can see, there's about 2 more minutes of this, the enemy team is once again making some really strange initiations and, you know, solo and whatnot. But my front line is brutal. My Janna is just gonna disable any attempt to kill the Ahri or the Jhin. But to be honest, me and the Gragas are mass threats on our own. It doesn't really matter what happens. It's brutal. And I gotta say though, the maxing of the E stuff is amazing. That it just kind of allows you to destroy people in 1v1 situations rather than them kind of just ignoring you or not having the actual auto attack capabilities or wound themselves as badly. So maxing out E first is just definitely the way to go now, and I'm convinced. I mean, like I said, I follow a lot of what people tell me in the comments, or at least experiment every now and then. And this was one of those experiments that turned out that, yeah, you guys were more right than I was. So anyways, here they go. They're going to want to engage on my one teammate. The Gragas is nearby, they spot him, and they're all just kind of waiting for a fight. Again, they initiate on the Gragas, probably the second hardest one to kill in the team, who's also a slippery bastard. They go in, and it's like, me, Janna, and everyone else just sort of skate through. It's like, they can't do any bit of damage to my homie. And yet they burned absolutely everything to try to do something, and essentially slow down to a crawl and allowing me and my other teammate to catch up and annihilate them. That was a sad finish for them, but a great finish for us.